Why, hello. So, the first thing I've got today to share is these Beatles cassettes. They are the original, TP. I'm not sure what you call it, but they're from 1970. And there's a gold one, a rubber sole from the same sort of thing. Yeah. And a collection of oldies. This one is one of the tri-window ones. Now, of course, I've got all three of these actually, but there was something going on with somebody had done a little sticker or something, and they put it right about here on these ones. And it was really impossible to get rid of it, without really damaging the liner. So I went ahead and bought those ones again, and because they weren't that bad actually. Oh, actually, I probably just share this a little bit here. I listened to this, the Iowa Noise. Now, I'm from Iowa, the land, the home of Caitlin Clark. That's how you know who this is. Although this, I don't know how old Caitlin Clark was when this came out. Probably, I think this is, was it 2012 maybe, or something like that. And you wouldn't know of any of these bands really. It was like ambient, noisy some places, ambient other places. And I'm pretty sure it's out of Des Moines, which is also where Caitlin Clark is from. The family's from Iowa, so we've been talking a lot about that and stuff. And, I guess she was, as of the date, she was just not made the Olympic team, I guess. And what would I say about that? Well, they're trying to put down their best team, so it's understandable, I guess. But on the other hand, I remember Christian Laettner being on the 92 Dream Team for some reason, because they were transitioning from college to pro. But that's kind of, ideally the Dream Team would have been had Isaiah Thomas on it too, instead of Christian Laettner, just because it would have been a better team. But anyway, then Jordan would have been on the team. So, it's I don't think Caitlin Clark has that kind of leverage at this point in her career. But I just, if you've got to, a team like that, I guess the question you need to ask yourself is, there must be 2 point guards who are better than Caitlin Clark. So, okay, I'll take your word on that. But, yeah, I mean, that might not be the case soon, you know what I mean? Anyway, the next thing I've got is this tape by, guess what? I listened to this just now. Not only did I listen to this now, I got this. This is the first time this has ever happened in this whole video series, where I got a tape only hours before listening to it, only hours before talking about it. This is Cicadia the Burr. Cicadias, I guess they're pronounced. Well, and I got this from the person whose face is here, and I had a nice conversation with them, and yeah, I guess they live in my old cooperative house. And so, here's the story, I guess. I'm playing music, the prepared guitar, as I've shared a few times. And I'm playing a show with a poet next week at Nottingham, right? And we made a flyer, and he made a flyer for it and everything. And I go in there, we've been practicing every week. Ben's reading his poetry, and I'm playing the prepared guitar. And so I go in, and there's as is the case sometimes, there's a pile of stuff in the ballroom with 48er notices all over everything. And so the first thing I saw was 2 dressers, which we call F'ers. I know I've sworn on this before, but I'll spare you this time the swearing, the F-bombs. But they're called F'ers, and I had a couple last year, but anyway, I got a couple more now. Yeah, because I was able to, the 49ers had passed the Thom way, but I was able to intercept. And I was able to intercept a bunch of files, which the house was also going to throw away, which were historical stuff that, wasn't really particular to the house. It's stuff that I used to do research on the house at the Historical Society. And so there were a lot of things that, some of them were particular to Nottingham, and some of them were just the neighborhood in general, and just stuff you'd want to know, like, but having to do with the historical nature of the house. So Ben, being another sort of historian type, intercepted that and stopped the notice. And so then another thing there was a tape deck, which I'm pretty sure must have been one of my tape decks from like way back in the day. Now I go through tape decks quite a lot because I might listen to 2,000 tapes on a deck or something. So they all play different. Some of them play terrible and they kind of ruin the deck and etc. I know I'll get to the end of this story real quick. So there's a tape deck and I thought like, oh, is that mine? If it's not mine, I definitely want it. But then like it began to dawn on me, it's pretty obvious that it must be mine. It must be my old Tascam deck. So somebody claimed it. And then so Ben also, in addition to all of that, in addition to my friend from Germany coming and all the things and him trying to read the poetry, I also had him asked if I could have that. And so Ben also texted this other person who had the 4800 noticed on the deck. And as I was leaving and to go, I ran into the person and we got to talking about music. And I talked about like how I want to preserve this collection for all time, but I'm running into trouble. And, or at least I'm running into like any college, any library, official library thing would probably want me to have barcodes on everything that I donate to them. And they wouldn't want anything like demos or promos or anything that would be from, that I shouldn't own, I guess, or according to them, they wouldn't be able to preserve it. So like this is a real problem because all this is like the promos and demos and stuff that without barcodes and, all the other sort of things are extremely historically valuable and they're not really of any use to anybody as a playing thing. They're just used as like a historical artifact. So anyways, yeah, and I don't know when we became like we need to have commercial product as a sort of a criteria for being an artifact, like a historical artifact, as I think Monday Night Tapes will be. Anyway, so like yeah, the other thing I'm going to be doing is like I'm just kind of envisioning like taking all 23,000 and creating a giant wall with them that's like 25 feet tall by 40 feet wide or whatever that would be, and then just having that set up in a gallery space for 2 weeks. And I think that would bring the spectacle of that alone would bring people. The news would catch hold of that and probably do it. So someday, when I'm older, I would like to do that, but it probably would involve gluing all the tape cases together and then I'll break it all down with a hammer, just like destroy everything. Why? Because nobody will want to save it, not as a collection, not as it should be. So anyway, they heard this story, they were like happy, and then they like, you know what, I'm going to give you this tape. And I told them, you know what, I'm glad that this tape deck's going to you because they are a collector who really seem to appreciate tapes quite a bit. And this is one that they made and gave to me just right away. So that was cool. Anyway, now I'm at the 8 minutes of this story, so let's move on. Loose by Crazy Horse is this Crazy Horse album with Neil Young. I listened to that because, I listened to some Neil Young because it's W's this week. Daft Punk, Alive. Now this is another thing. I'm going to have a few things from 2007. This is one that I listened to a few weeks ago. Got it. It's an Indonesian thing. Again, not very official, I guess. But it's so great to have a tape from 2007. 2007 was probably one of the last year, maybe 08, but by then you're talking tape revival and you're talking like the original runs of anything, that's coming to an end. There's no real people that don't have CD players anymore. Just in places like Indonesia, are they still doing little limited, maybe limited, I don't know, but runs of cassettes, very, very limited at that point, I think. Angel Dust, the promo version, enjoyable. As you know, I got that Faith No More, Mr. Bungle promo of Warner Brothers, and was thrilled with that. So why not Faith No More, Angel Dust too. Girly Sound, Girls, another Liz Phair. It's the Girly Sound, it's not original, it's the re-release. It's official, but like it's not the original demo or anything. It's probably harder to find. Pet Sematary was really enjoyable, as well as Pet Sematary 2. Sounded like super modern. I couldn't tell when it was from, and it turns out it was 92. Oh, this was really, I wish I had more time to talk about this. George Harrison. I listened to this within the last week. This is Rockline with George Harrison. If I had one question, Rockline is a great, great show. I love, there are these interviews. I think I showed the U2 one with Bill Clinton. I talked about that. He played, like, he was trying to make, sort of a rock comeback in '88. And he played a bunch of stuff. Boy, I had a few things to say about this, but if I had one question to ask George Harrison when he was live, it would have been, do you really play the sitar for like 4 hours a day? Because I think that, like, I just find that to be fascinating, that you would escape into your music and like a musical instrument that you love for hours a day. I read that he does some at some point, but he doesn't really talk about it. Let's see. Oh, I had more things to say. Yeah, I guess I got to skip it though, because I don't remember. Shoot. But anyway, like, this was really good. Oh, there was something. Oh, he got his guitar out and played some. Yeah, and to a sort of receptive thing. And I think Jeff Lynne was also there. Anyway, I had more to say about that, but I've forgotten all of it. Only Everything by Hatfield, that is a promo as well. Here we go. This is like Paul McCartney's sort of revival period for me. It's like in my opinion, it was the continuation of a revival period in the late 90s. But Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, and then Memory Almost Full. To me, these are like peak Paul McCartney albums. Memory Almost Full, I believe he's playing the mandolin, and he said that the mandolin kind of rekindled a bit of his interest in playing music, like instrumentally. Although I don't really know. But I don't know if that's actually true, because he was playing everything on this one too. But I just think these are two extremely good, extremely underrated Paul McCartney albums. They're at the top of his game right there. Like, very melodic, very wonderful. Two more normals. Don't really have much to say other than they're great. The Posies, Frosting on the Beater promo. It's a nice one. It's like, reminds me of, it's like kind of the same poppiness of like Guided by Voices or something. That's good. The Sebadoh, I just listened to this. And I don't think there are any bad Sebadoh albums. I enjoyed this Thank You by the Stone Temple Pilots. This is another 2000, I think, 3 Indonesia thing. I listened to the Turtles Golden Hits, kind of because I listened to a Frank Zappa. Oh, another XTC. Boy, XTC, this was another one where you realize the more you listen to XTC, the better they sound. Just really good. There were 3 radio shows they went to in one day. And the last one guy was kind of a stiff, and he kept wanting to play Mayor Simpleton, and I think they should have played King for a Day or something instead, but because it was like they got some really, really good stuff in the late 80s. Yeah, I'm not even, they're so good, I'm not even necessarily wanting to call them nerds anymore. I mean, Andy Partridge seems a little insecure, but that's not in a bad way. I like this Yardbirds Little Game Sessions and More. This was Little Games Sessions and More. It's exactly what it says. Wasn't too much money, but of course, it's my favorite. I guess it's my favorite Yardbirds. Whatever the psychedelic type one is probably my favorite Yardbirds. I guess. I don't know. Not my favorite band, but still a good band. Yola Tango. I liked Yola Tango. Basically, on the other section, I got all of their stuff. I've been watching a lot of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. This is a really great show. If you don't think George Lucas was good because of the prequels and stuff, this was really excellent. And I've been watching more of that. The music's also really good. But I remember the one where the 3 women are all fighting over him. That one's really excellent. Okay, here's some Thom Yorke. Again, like not official. Crazy Horse, Sleeps with Angels. I also listened to Barn. And then finally, this is a Youth Manifesto. This has interviews about early Black Flag and that kind of stuff. Bad Religion. It's from like 1983 or something.